Hi there, I'm Rebecca, and I thought that tonight would be a good time for a story time. It is Cesar Chavez Day, so March 31st, 2025. Cesar Chavez was born on this day in 1927, and he was a labor leader and a friend of my family. This is a really cool picture of him that I got at a little place called Scrap. Someone made this, and I think it's really just a beautiful picture. If you look at it really closely, you'll see that there are faces and skulls throughout the picture depicting Cesar. He was a very gentle man, and he practiced resistance in a peaceful fashion. He fasted for 25 days at one point in order to make his feelings known about the way that Mexican American farm workers were treated in the United States. And he made great strides, both with the grape boycott that he did, and just finding ways to treat people better that were working in our fields. This is something that really hits home for me quite significantly. My father came to the United States in the Bracero program. So it was a program that invited immigrants that wanted to come from Mexico to come to the United States, and they could live in the U.S. They got a green card. They didn't have to pay $5 million. They just were able to come in if they were willing to work picking crops and help us supply food and crops and cotton to the United States. So as little children, they came and picked the cotton. So this is an amazing thing. My uncle, Martiniano Chapa Jr., has written a book about this called Los Mileros. You could buy it if you wanted. I wanted to show you, this is a picture of the family. And this was the picture of the brothers and a couple of the little girls. My dad was one of 12, actually 14, but 2 died in infancy. But this is my dad, right? This one right here. And so when they came to the U.S., this was the passport picture that his mother had, because she didn't get her own passport. They were too young to have their own. So they all had a passport together, and that's my abuela there. So they came in and they worked the fields in Texas and all the way up to Arizona and California during the years picking cotton. And so I thought it'd be kind of cool, just in memory of Cesar Chavez and his birthday and Cesar Chavez Day, and in thinking about recent events in the U.S. and the fact that we are deporting so many people back to Mexico. I thought it was really important to read, for anyone that wants to hear it, what it was like to be a cotton picker, because I don't think that's a job a lot of people would like. Later in the book, my uncle speaks of the pride he had for his job, and how difficult it was once they mechanized cotton picking to realize that he had a career that he took so seriously and had such great pride in, that was then gone. I don't know, I don't really have a lot of words. I'm speaking off the cuff here, but so instead I'll read to you. So story time from Los Mileros. Picking cotton was like being in another world. We traveled to many towns and met people who were not like us. They spoke English and we could as well, but we were more comfortable with Spanish, and our mother spoke only Spanish. The townspeople were mostly white. We were technically white too, but of Mexican heritage. We had to travel hundreds of miles to work in cotton fields to survive. Every year we went on the cotton trail, moving north as the cotton was ready to be picked. We would start in South Texas and end in the north near the Panhandle. We would go through Amarillo, Lubbock, Wellington, Clarendon, Childress, Temple, Quail, Midland, and many more towns, hundreds of towns. We also picked cotton in many states, Oklahoma, New Mexico, California, and Arizona, but mostly in Texas. Not all cotton fields were the same. In Arizona, the cotton plants were the tallest. I did not like that. I could not pick as fast, and it was too hot. I preferred the Panhandle of Texas, where cotton plants were 3 feet tall. In some cases, they were very close to the ground. My main schooling was in the fields. My teachers were my parents, brothers, and sisters, learning the best ways to pick cotton. Yes, anybody could pick cotton, but to be great at it took many years of hard and dedicated work and learning the tricks of the trade. Every year I learned better ways to pick cotton, something I will cherish knowing. I spent most of my youth in teen years picking cotton from June through October and sometimes into November or December. After the first freeze, the leaves turn brown and fall off. By this time, the cotton balls had opened up, but the ones that didn't open died. Some cotton, sorry, I'm getting a little choked up. Some cotton, excuse me. Some cotton rows are longer than others depending on the landscape. After mid-November, the weather would get cold, sometimes very cold, and many years we picked cotton through the Christmas holidays. That was a little bitter. It was a time when other people were shopping for gifts, but we did not complain. We understood we were not on vacation. Though we picked during many Christmas seasons, our parents bought us gifts. Sometimes we celebrated Christmas in Edinburgh if we had earned enough for the non-working months. Dad would always point to cotton fields and say, "Look at all that money out there. Just pick it and it's yours." He always tried hard to motivate us and give us confidence. We knew what he was doing, but we knew he was very proud of the whole family. The older Mileros and Mileras and the younger ones equally. By the way, a Milera is a person who can pick 1,000 pounds of cotton a day. When I was young, my sack was 10 feet long. Later, I carried a 12 and then a 14-foot sack. The more I picked, the stronger my legs became, and the more my whole body got used to all the hard work. After many years, it became effortless and easier. My sack became an extension of myself. I took good care of it and repaired it as necessary. They were 14 feet long with pieces of wire to keep them open. We did not have to even look. We knew the cotton we were throwing into them was going into them. We lined the underside of our sacks with material to protect the sacks from the hard dirt and sometimes sticks on the ground. They were tied shut at the far end, so we could untie that end when we were dumping our sacks into the trailer. That made it quicker to unload a 14-foot sack. And we made sure our shoulder straps were wide and padded to protect our shoulders from stress. We put hooks in front of the straps to make it easier to unload them. Dad taught us to mix flour and water into a paste and coat the underside of our sacks with that. It cut down on the friction of dragging sacks. My family's sacks were the main reason that no other families could pick like us. No one could become a Milero or Milera without such tricks of the trade. I would attack the cotton, picking hard all day, getting into a zone. It was amazing how much cotton you could pick on those days. It was hard pulling the sack all day, bending repetitive motions, weighing sacks 15 times, going up the ladder 15 times. But when you were in a zone, you could do it and feel indescribable joy and fulfillment. We welcomed rivalry. It was our nourishment, our source of pride. In winter, I used to wear long johns under my pants, and I would wear 2 shirts, a sweater, and a jacket. As the day went on, I would take my jacket off and then perhaps my sweater when it got warmer, and that made picking easier. On Saturdays, we would go into town. It was great. Shopping and movies made up for working hard all week. Sometimes I wondered if we were poor. I did not think so because we ate well and we had a house, truck, cars, and other nice things. Yes, every year we traveled to make a living. It was a tough life, but I had been born into it, and I loved picking with my family. The Chapa family learned to absorb all the hard work and punishment of the cotton fields with discipline, determination, and pride. We reached our goals and relished the sense of accomplishment. We conquered cotton every day we picked. We saw money in the fields we picked. It was our way to a better life. That kept us going and overpowering cotton. At times it took my passion and pride out on the cotton, and the work became effortless. Working with older members of the family gave me a sense of togetherness. I felt protected. I loved my family very much, so working with them was great. We had strong bonds. The pride and love we had for each other, what more could I ask for? The fact that I was with my family made up for all the rough work and all the months away from home. Seeing my brothers and sisters pulling cotton and going beyond the pain had a powerful influence on me. I wanted to imitate them. I could not match their resourcefulness, but I knew that someday I would. I tried to be like them for the betterment of the family. Pulling cotton as a family was so special and rewarding that the hard work did not bother us. I loved the work and the life of a cotton picker. I was sure that that would be my future. So for all of you that say that you would do this job, I really doubt that a lot of Americans would do that kind of job. This is just like, even talking about the good parts. There's so many other parts that were so difficult. And then to still not be respected, to still just not respect the work that the people that are immigrants in this country do, and the jobs that they're so proud to do, and the sense of true pride is something that I have always thought is so American. To just say that they should go home, it's just incredibly painful. So thank you, Tio, for writing this, because I think it's really important for me to know. My dad didn't really talk about it very much because, well, I think he was one of the brothers that didn't really like to pick cotton. It wasn't his, he didn't have the same amount of pride in that particular job, but he had pride in being an American. And he didn't want to burden me with all the difficulties. Like, I heard about some of it, but he didn't share a lot of the hardness because he wasn't that kind of person, you know. He didn't want me to feel any guilt for having such opportunity given to me without such hard work. So I just thought that it would be really important to talk about today. I thought some of that debt had been paid, but I guess not. So anyway, that's just my meanderings tonight. Sorry to get so emotional. Thank you for listening.